Good morning from New York. Enter the infant mind. Create song, mantra. Awake the inner child. Heal the heart. Transcend the drama. Journey to rebirth. Today on this variety theme show themed around empathetic inner mind communication and political action, I present to you a journey to empathetic enlightenment, leaving language with play, focusing on feeling and expressing it, and rising from playful sound, the dramatic self, the inner child or kid, opens its eyes and embraces its story with objectivity and compassion, then transcends the drama with a meeting with the inner artist, creator of all you imagine, including how you see yourself, a movie maker for your soul. Okay. Sounds heavy, huh? Well, sometimes I'm a poet and don't know it. So, anyway, it's a deep subject. And I thought I would try to display it, just take you on the journey with the practices. And how do you enter the infant mind? Well, you begin with creating song and mantra. That is, you're being creative with sound. And you're singing it and you're speaking it. And in that arena of the infant mind, there is the three, this is play. We're dealing with being playful with what sounds like language, but isn't. And that's to nullify the influence of language concepts so that you are having a true empathy and connection to your infant mind, the part of you that has no ego concept. And so it would go a little something like this. Asura anaye manao Hari ahem Hari ahem Urananaya tuti santo te lemina. Incarni seti chitenumaya te tesorua. As you listen to this, it has a somewhat of the effect of you're doing it yourself. You're leaving language. You're entering into the infant mind. Now, within the infant mind, there is a connection, an empathy that you have with your body, your feelings, your sensations, and your emotions that have no words. And so there is focus. It's all of these are reflective abilities. The whole practice of empathetic inner mind communication is reflective because it's in here, in your mind, in your brain, and kind of a unique thing because it's part of your brain looking at another part of your brain, and you're practicing this. And yeah, I told you it was heavy, but it'll come to you and make sense more as you learn and practice. And a lot of people just do that, that's focusing, it's dhyana yoga is close to that. But you're focusing on your feelings and your emotional feelings and whatever. You're not focusing on what you want to eat today. you know, your mind, that's the monkey mind. You don't Zen, you want to get away from that. So, those thoughts come, just let those go. And refocus on how you're feeling physically at the moment. One benefit of this is if there's any ache or pain, it helps you to direct endorphins to that area, for some people anyway. Yeah, well, for anybody, I would think, if they were successful in the practice. But anyway, to the degree that they are successful. So you focus. I can't really demonstrate that. But go with me. Do that right now. How is your body feeling? Is there an ache? Is there a pain? If there's something grabbing your attention, focus harder on it. If there's a pain, focus harder on it. Observe it. Don't run away from it. Your mind will automatically drift again. So just focus. Then you will unfocus and kind of scan everything that's going on in your body, your emotional sort of feelings that you're having, whatever that is. Just observe. Now, at any time, so you're having trouble with your monkey mind, go back to the play. Still focusing on your feelings, of course, and expressing them, but with song and mantra, creative song and mantra. Monkey mind, calm. Keep focusing on your feelings and how you're feeling, and inside, and then express that feeling. What's used in this practice is the sound ah and ooh, the sounds ah, ooh, and because they elongate. They stretch. You can stretch them out. Sometimes you might use the word or the expression ow. If there's a painful feeling, that's also something that it's elongatable, and that helps. So, and again, you're not in language. If you do it more slowly, you may drift more into language. If you do it quicker, then you tend to go more into the body. Demonstrate. You're not singing. You're not being playful. It's just, more of a negative feeling. Maybe you're feeling happy. A little cold, and so my body wants to shiver. There's a sad feeling. Deep. If that's too much for you, we'll talk about that later. And people have different gateways. For some, those who are healthy enough, they can begin this way. Okay, you're in touch with that, okay? And you've felt your body. Some people call it grounded. You're in your body. Now you want to reach back out, back to play again. In tune with your feelings. You're a happy song, or you might be singing the blues. Doesn't matter. Sing what you feel. Make up the sound. Be creative. Hard to go back into the body. It's quite ready. Let's try again. Then give voice to what you want to say. Enter back into the realm of language in the dramatic self. The child with language. The inner child, I call it the inner kid, has language. You're about 6 years old in this case. You are part of you that's most impacted by the story of your life, by the drama of your existence. I I really want to speak my sadness. Now, that's a strong emotion, Speak your sadness. Now you have a choice to what direction you want to take your spoken language expression of how you're feeling, who you want to have a chat with. There's your inner counselor, who is more a position of safety into your future, a guide, a counselor that helps you from the present feelings that you're having in your present situation, um, and that you're staying in the present. If you refer to the past, you can refer to the past, but the past is the past. You are about how you're feeling right now, and you might explain how you're feeling by saying, oh, this happened to me, or that happened to me. It's talk therapy that you're doing yourself. So, in one way that this is practiced, it's big you and little you. The big you is your counselor. And that's how you would put it into the dialogue. There's you at about 6 years of age. More emotional. Not so thoughtful and reflective. Something you see in Trumpers. And some in the Democratic Party as well. But this is where you start to grow up. This is delving into emotional intelligence. You're kind of educating yourself. Who is this inner counselor in you? What is that you, that big you? Well, it's the part of you that is composed of those who have taught you, the people you've spoken with, or if you have a therapist, it's that part of you that's learned from those who have gone before you. And, but you're staying with big and little you. You're not being playful with personages, just communicating. It'd be, in my case, hello, Big Mitch. How you doing? It's kidding me, right? And I can reply back to myself. You do talk to yourself and you do answer yourself. And you're beyond crazy. You're actually more sane. More reflective. If you can't control it, then you don't, you just. But it's okay. Okay, little Dave. So what's up? I don't know. I'm just feeling sad. Well, why is that? And in this one practice that I've heard you look up when you're talking to your big self, and you look down when you're being the big self talking to your little self, if that helps you, then do that. And I think it is a little helpful. I'm sad for a lot of reasons. Defensive moves, you see, across my arms. I'm feeling like defending myself. For one thing, I'm going to broadcast this. So, well, I'm sad because of a lot of stuff, frustrated, there's a lot of things I'm trying to do, and it's really hard. And it sounds like you said, but that's an adult. And no, it's just a thoughtful child. Yeah. And that's what you sort of become when you do this, right? But yeah, Big Dave, it's been really hard on me, and I don't like it. I'm sad. I miss warm weather. I miss my friends in Texas. My adopted daughter in Texas. I miss her. I miss my kids that are living a long way away from me. I hardly ever hear from them. I think maybe I was a bad dad or something. Wasn't good enough. I don't hear from them. I hear a lot of older people say that, though. Yeah, but you want them to spread their wings and fly. And you want them to be able to go wherever their dreams take them, and even if that's far away. So, that's right, little Jay. You have to grow up. I hate to tell you. Your purpose was to give them all you had and help them to be ready for a very difficult world. You did the best you could. Yeah, but it wasn't good enough. Well, perhaps. But all you can do is try. And don't just try, do. Think about how you can improve. Yeah. Find your purpose. Purpose? Okay. Well, your purpose is your dream. Where do you want to go? What do you want to become? Want to become a better me. I want to help the world. Okay. You're going. That's not 6 years old. That's more 12 or something. Work with me. Yeah. So, but it's the kid. And the big, roughly speaking, it's the more emotional part of you. It's the more thoughtful you. So that's maybe a little more accurate in some ways. So now, if I want to go and explore that sadness, I would to find anything that needs healing or change, connecting to, any damaged faith and love that might have been, um, any lack of appreciation of things that I might have missed, then you play both caregiver and kid. And when you, in your mind's eye, when you look out in your imagination to other people, you'll see people who care about you or who should have cared about you, and they're your caregiver, good or bad. And when you see in your mind's eye people you care about, or at that moment you care about, or who you should care about, talk to them. And that will bring up feelings that you need to deal with. All right, I don't want this to be dragged out. I think you experience it for yourself. All right. So, but that's more the present, looking into the past. So you have the present, you have your sense of being in the present, but you also have a sense of the past. And in that dialogue, it's where you're more apt to relive on the level of language, experiences that you've had, from the time that you had language, right? So that's a kind of healing. Now let's see. Now awake the inner child. Your inner child is now more awake, more in touch with compassion and wisdom, objective empathy coming from your counselor, inner counselor, and compassionate empathy coming from your caregiver. So you're awakening. Now, talking about healing the heart, and so there's a healing that's going on with these practices so far. You are within your comfort zone. You are challenging that comfort zone and getting more in touch with yourself, more in touch with your feelings, and more in touch with both in emotional intelligence. Here in this process, you're developing empathy and objectivity, but in the version of the shorthand of inner mind, or I'm sorry, emotional intelligence, there's self-awareness, self-control, and empathy. You're gaining a certain amount of self-control, talking to your inner counselor, you're gaining a certain amount, a greater empathy with yourself and others, talking to your inner caregiver. So there's this overlap there. You're developing your ego strength, your emotional intelligence in this personal practice that never, you don't, you're both personal and you're a social creature. So, you know, you practice this in real life as well in certain ways, some greater empathy and greater self control. But then there's self awareness. And the highest self awareness is to realize that there's a part of you that is the artist. And, but I'm getting past the heart part. there's a little more depth to the healing of the heart, that needs to be covered before we get into the transcendence of drama. Well, healing the heart means that you have felt your damaged faith and love. And what that does is that you, once upon a time when you had damaged faith and love, the anxiety was high. And what the brain does is it comes in and protects you with some more attainable, because in trauma you're not getting a need met, you know, to run away, to be angry and do something about it, or whatever. The needs are blocked. And then the brain symbolizes the conditions and how the needs that are actually losses now. The needs are transformed into something, you know, more attainable. Wealth, power, a lot of things that are, you know, kind of shallow, you know, because you're not in touch with yourself. You're not being emotionally intelligent. You're being controlled by past trauma that's causing you to get into an addiction I call hope dope, where you're looking for symbols of need, and you can't be filled up on symbols. That's not possible. So it's a kind of sickness. And all nations need to be aware of when that's happening. You know, it said, you know, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Well, it's more like addiction to power or addiction to wealth, rather than the fact that you have it. Are you addicted? Is enough never enough? And, you know, is it consuming your life? So then, you know you've gone too far. You know, it's an unreal thing coming from damaged faith and love, the faith that your needs will be met. We also symbolize the conditions of that early trauma. You know, and it's symbolic, so there's always something of the trauma involved in their symbolic struggles. There's a force there. And, well, when you reflect on it, you have power over it. And when you have the permission to feel from compassion and empathy, you begin to feel the real need, and the real circumstances begin to evolve, because this practice I'm just talking about wears down those symbolic defenses which were necessary at the time that your damaged faith occurred. These things were necessary because the anxiety was so damaging or life-threatening. So, once you, all right, that heals you, being able to finally feel it and realize that it was a loss. Today, they're a loss or losses. They're okay. That's a kind of healing of the heart, but you're still feeling a little blue. And I'll cover that in Journey to Rebirth. But at that point, you also need to transcend the drama. That's connecting to your inner artist. Where does your inner artist dwell? Well, your inner artist enjoys the story of your life no matter what, like you do a movie. It's great story. And you're the star. You're the star. In that, you're the main character in that story. And of course, the artist sitting in imaginary heaven up above the drama, viewing your story, and you can create new experiences, new memories. It can give you a guided meditation. Now, therapists can jump into that role, the counselor role, or the caregiver role, in order to help the person. And the place where you go, it's kind of the gateway of that person. It's what's easier for them to do, and then you gradually bring in all three perspectives. But this is a guided meditation, that you're doing yourself from the artist, but the artist is like a personality in you, the you that is above the drama. If you're really suffering, the artist might say to you, come and sit beside me. Come up above that. Rise above the drama. Let's just take a look at the whole thing. Take a rest. I used that in a Christian meeting once, where someone was schizophrenic and disrupting the service, and I was called on. I guess I have a kind of gift. But anyway, I looked at the other young man that had this problem, and I just turned to my inner artist, which is a Christian, that, it's God or Jesus or whatever. But I just looked for enlightenment from, let's say, the inner artist, the imaginer of all I imagine, the creative empathy. What do I do? Well, I did a guided meditation. I stepped into the artist role, and I said, I see you high on a mountain, high up above, like flying in the dreams. You're up above. So, and all of your troubles are going down below you. All the bad feelings, everything. And the rest are dissipating up into the sky. And Jesus sits beside you, puts one arm over your shoulder, and says nothing. Invitation to feel. I'm shutting up. Close of the poem. Well, that lowered the level of anxiety. He was overwhelmed. And he started to cry. And he was okay and in his right mind for the rest of the service. So that's how the inner artist can be for you. Now let's move to the journey to rebirth. It seems that in primal therapy, where they go back and relive, it's kind of like some of the more feeling things that I've talked about, both non-language and language. And they were better. They were less symbolic. They were more real. But they were sad. They reported what they came to call the primal blues. I read this in a book, in one of their books, Arthur Jano's books, and I went, okay. Well, the thing is, there's the process of rebirth, which is so important. It's the mystic Jesus talking about, take up your cross and follow after me. When you have felt and realized that these needs and felt them, so that from a safe perspective, you then have this realization of these things as needs. Of course, you're sad. So then there's another process you have to go through. It's a grieving process. And, people grieve differently. So you have to deal with that. Now, the more you successfully grieve, the more you can successfully forgive. And there was someone I knew once who used to go into a Christian gathering. He was a little off, but he thought it was a command, just forgive, before you even grieved and let it go, it's kind of hard to do. So anyway, he'd go up to people still angry in his tone, and still angry, I mean to say. And he would say, I forgive you. Just that kind of tone. Yeah, a little off. Yeah, a little hurt, a little damaged, yeah. So anyway, he would do that. Well, obviously he didn't forgive them. Not from his heart. So grieving helps you to forgive. And guess what forgiving does? Forgiving helps you to find remorse. For the times that you were unable to give or receive love, and that hurt other people. For the times when your symbolic addictions hurt others. That's remorse, part of rebirth. When you have such remorse, my friend, you are no longer that person who did that, who was that. You are reborn. That's the journey to rebirth. I thank you for your time. I hope you have appreciated this. This channel is about empathy. That's the theme. Various ways of empathizing, which also includes just simple awareness of safe awareness of feelings and things. It's an empathy with your body. There's also your pre-language self, an empathy there. And then there are these other empathies. These empathies are, by the way, supportive of your virtues of artfulness, compassion, and artfulness and goodness, I meant to say, and truth. Objectivity gives you truth. Compassionate empathy gives you goodness. You know, it's the empathy that makes it part of you and makes you part of your world and your associations. And creative empathy gives you the artfulness. And a sort of virtue is trust, which grows as you have a connection with these virtues. So you don't need a religion to do this. I believe Jesus was saying, move beyond religion when he said he would fulfill the law and the prophets. Well, love fulfills the law and the prophets. Yeah. That's something you see missing in this Trump deal, you know, which is anti-democratic and dangerous and all full of fear and hatred. It's not good. It's divisive. It's not loving. It's a sickness. It's a sickness. He says, well, it's not empathetic. No, empathy also, love is not a whip. Empathy is strong. And it's truthful. It's truthful. It's good. It's artful. Okay? And we put all those together and they enhance each other. It's a beautiful thing. Now, that's a sickness. And you see a great lack of empathy going on. A lot of self-centeredness. And democracy is threatened by that sort of thing. Yeah. If you can't see that, then okay. But did want to make those comments. It's this channel is political because you don't just heal yourself and become this great person and then not try to improve society around you. And politics is one way to do that. Okay. So politics is very important to this channel. Yeah, politics. If that frightens you, then realize that you're always been a politician at work. You know, politics is just how you work with other people to create a better condition. Some people are self-centered and their politics is self-centered. But empathetic politics is not. And it supports democracy. Be firm about that. Never back away. Defend democracy. So I would like to end this video wishing you the very best and hoping that this was helpful for you. And we hope to have Zoom calls and lots of fields of study are going to be a part of this empathy-themed channel. Okay? Until next time, as Neil deGrasse Tyson says, keep looking up. I'd say, up to your brain, your artist. It's a wonderful world. When you embrace this kind of practice, we call it the path of the mystic, because it's so incredibly self-reflective, and self-reflection is so connected to consciousness, and it also connects to virtue. And the rational mystic does something about it. So however you practice these things, get to work and keep looking up. Your inner artist will be pleased and give you a message of transcendence.